Part 116. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1151. Accepting Sun Xiaotian and Katie as patrolmen, all these things are done inside Xiaoming's spiritual world. At the same time, he also has to greet acquaintances outside. After chatting with Lu Zhishan for a while, he learned that today was a dinner for Hebai, one of the studio owners. It's not a big deal, but Hebai recruited 2 professional players for the studio and held a welcoming banquet. Magic Dragon Aotian Studio is actually a small company of a hobby nature, and it can't recruit Phoenix at all. The real top god-level professional players can't join, even the first-rate, second-rate, or even third-rate professional players look down on them. This temple is too small. The 5 bosses always want to recruit some professional players, but they can't succeed. There have always been 2 or 3 kittens. It was because of Xiaoming that the situation has changed fundamentally. Because Xiaoming's financial resources in the game are really strong. Not long ago, I just sold 200,000 gold coins to each boss. In fact, they haven't settled the bill yet. When several bosses have money, many things will be easier. The real Huaxia currency cannot attract good professional players, but the gold coins in the game are different. As the reputation of the Magic Planet game gradually spread, more and more people played this game, and a large number of professional players were also attracted. The gold coins in the game not only did not depreciate, but became increasingly scarce. More often, there was no market for them. No one was willing to sell them. These 2 newcomers are professional players who have just come into contact with Magic Planet. The characteristics of professional players are that they are willing to invest heavily in the early stage, grab an early advantage, and then use the ability to snowball and make money later. Therefore, new professional players are generally unwilling to level up step by step, especially in the current situation where others are ahead. If they level up slowly, they will be left behind by others. How can they make money? So the gold coins that Xiaoming gave to several bosses became a hot commodity, and he really caught a big fish, and his apprentice. San'erye gives you a smile, abbreviated as Sanya. He is actually only 32 years old. He is still very young. It's just that the group of professional players eats the rice of youth, and 32 years old is already an old player. Half of his foot has been retired. Sanya is quite famous in the northeastern region of the New Han Kingdom. His level is roughly between first-rate players and second-rate players nationwide. He doesn't like those intrigues, so he never joins any studio and has always been a solo player. In other online games, Hebai, Li Jianfan, and others have done business with him before. They are also familiar with each other. In early June, several bosses recommended this Magic Planet game to Sanya, but Sanya didn't like it at the time. Now it's really good. You ignored me back then, but today I'll make you out of reach. It's all because of the Magic Planet game, which didn't advertise at all, causing Sanya to end up 3 months late. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't change his principles and join the studio. Too abbreviated as, the apprentice that Sanya is currently training is a 14-year-old child. His current gaming level is probably third-rate. But he's young. The third master has high hopes for him. Once this child is enlightened, his future achievements will be limitless. The reason why the third master accepted Hebai's invitation was largely for this apprentice. He hoped to train his apprentice as soon as possible. The Magic Dragon Aotian Studio has an advantage, that is, it is not so obsessed with money. Everything is just for fun, not for making money. Many famous studios are different. Although the treatment is generous, the corresponding requirements are also relatively strict. The third master does not like that kind of atmosphere and feels that the environment is not suitable for taking apprentices. That's why he chose the Magic Dragon Aotian Studio. After Zhang Wen and Xiaoming left, 4 bosses stayed in the studio. After receiving Xiaoming's latest gold coins, Li Jianfan and his nephew Lu Zhishan divided the money, and the two of them began to frantically attack the task. Zhang Yuyan used the gold coins to make other transactions. It has nothing to do with the studio, it's his own business. Although this is considered to be abusing power for personal gain, no one cares. The entire studio is maintained by everyone's money, and it doesn't matter if it's occasionally selfish. Peng Si is now a reincarnationist, and he spends more time in the reincarnation space. He is a little lazy about the game. But he didn't delay the progress of the game, but played better. After all, after becoming a reincarnationist, his strength has been improved. It can be regarded as a small plug-in. Only Hebai was clear-headed and quickly realized the advantage and recruited Sanyi to the studio. This matter was unanimously praised by everyone. Moreover, buy one get one free, and also brought a middle school boy. The boy's game level is also higher than other members of the studio. The two fierce generals came, and the studio set up a welcoming banquet. Everyone is from the north and has a straightforward personality. They didn't go to those seemingly high-end places to waste money. Everyone ran to the vicinity of the studio and ate this meat bone buffet. It's definitely worth it. Everyone came, except Zhang Wenyuan in Dongdu, Tokyo, so he could only inform him. As for Zhang Xiaoming, several bosses in the studio actually left him a message. However, he didn't open it at all, and ran out to play with Meng Meng. I didn't expect that I would actually catch up with this party. Xiaoming brought a beautiful girl to the party, and everyone expressed their warm welcome. In fact, Ruan Mengmeng is pretty. She is not a great beauty, but a beautiful girl. It is also very impressive to bring her out. Especially among a group of otakus, everyone is very enthusiastic about Mengmeng. Much more enthusiastic than Xiaoming. Although these guys owe Xiaoming millions, they didn't give him any special treatment. They broke down when they should, and they fought back when they should. They had a very happy buffet. Xiaoming also met the master and apprentice of Sanyi and the middle school boy. Looking at the age of the two people added together, it's not as good as living longer than myself. I can't help but feel a little emotional. Ruan Mengmeng is quite a big person, and she still wants to study and go to college. This middle school boy is good. He is only 14 years old and has pursued being a game player as a career. Isn't it not good? But Xiaoming couldn't say anything. After all, this is her own choice. Parents don't care, it's not our turn to say anything. Ruan Mengmeng found an opportunity to whisper a few words to the middle school boy. Only Xiaoming, who is super sensitive, heard what they said. It's nothing more than Mengmeng advising the boy not to give up his studies easily. Even if he wants to play games, it's better to complete his studies. How could a 14-year-old listen to this? Fortunately, this was said by a beautiful sister, and her tone was particularly gentle, so he didn't dare to confront her and just brushed it off. Mengmeng could see that the child was not sincere. But she didn't say anything more. The previous two sentences were her limit. If the atmosphere here was not so harmonious and relaxed, the shy Mengmeng would never say these words. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1152. On a spaceship heading to the planet LV-426, the heroine of this film, Ellen Ripley, was on board. After her last encounter with the alien, she became the last survivor. After drifting in space for 57 years, she was fortunately found by a search and rescue team. Then, her identity was found out. However, Ripley's experience was not accepted by Wayland Company, and she was punished. But not long after, the colony established by the company on the planet LV-426 lost contact with the company. At this time, the company remembered the words of the heroine, so it sent a Marine Corps to accompany the company's supervisor to the colony to check the situation. The supervisor who was sent to the colony tried every means to pull the heroine into the team. He was very eloquent, and the heroine who was scared of the alien was really convinced by him. This is the background information of the secret realm that Long Aotian Studio is about to carry out. Except for a few important personnel in the Marine Corps, all other cannon fodders were replaced by players of Long Aotian Studio. Speaking of the bosses of the studio, it is rare for them to meet Zhang Xiaoming. Everyone has a figurine made by Xiaoming at home, and everyone is very familiar with each other. After the welcoming banquet, they took the initiative to invite Xiaoming and Meng Meng to play for a while. Let's have a collective action in the studio. What fun can these people have? They can only play games. And they form a team to explore the secret realm. Now it has just passed noon on September 24th, and the main game is still running. It is not impossible to organize a collective activity. But the problem is that the levels of everyone's characters in the main game are uneven, and their locations are even more far-flung, so it is difficult to get together. It is more convenient to go to the secret realm. Not only can these people participate in the banquet, but even Zhang Wen, who is far away in Dongdu, can be pulled in. In this way, 5 bosses, 2 old employees, 2 new employees, and Ruan Meng Meng, exactly 10 people. With so many people, an alien in Alien 1 is no match at all. The game system directly assigned the secret realm of Alien 2 to them. Aliens are very unique monsters. As long as there are hot weapons, players can kill a lot of them even if they are not strong. If the player is very strong, there will be groups of aliens in Alien 2 waiting for you to destroy them. You can also do it if you want to brush the score. The prerequisite is that the player must know what he is facing in advance. If you don't understand the characteristics of the alien, you will die very ugly. Fortunately, the system gives players a chance. The initial scene of this secret realm is in the cabin of the spacecraft, where the heroine Ripley is introducing the monster of the alien to everyone. The group of arrogant cannon fodder in the original book did not use this time to carefully understand the information of the enemy/alien. Instead, they sneered at the heroine, which was simply a group of brain-dead. Later, their death was really not unfair at all. Sun Tzu's Art of War said, "Know yourself and know the enemy, and you will never be in danger in 100 battles." No matter how confident you are in yourself, it is always important to know the enemy's information. The Marines did not take the aliens seriously at all. If they don't die, who will die? Of course, this may also be a plot killing. The director just wants them to be cannon fodder, so he arranges them to be arrogant and careless. Players will not make such a mistake. Although they have just entered the secret realm, they can't tell who is the protagonist. But Ripley, the only one who has fought with the alien, will definitely not be let go. Everyone surrounded the heroine in the middle, flattering her and asking various questions. The words she said almost made the captain, commander, and other plot characters sick to vomit. Anyway, otaku flattery definitely has this effect. The benefits are naturally obvious. Ripley is a very cool woman who doesn't like flattery. But she can't stand the good words of the otakus. She put on an impatient look on her face, but answered the players' questions in great detail. The players basically restored the plot of Alien 1. They also have a more comprehensive understanding of monsters like aliens. What does the alien look like? How does it attack? What are its physical attributes? How tall it is? How much it weighs? The information players get is even more thorough than a mother-in-law knows her son-in-law. A lot of it is analyzed by Ripley's words. Among them, the 2 newcomers, Sainyi and Zhong played a big role. As expected of professional players, they really have a way to analyze intelligence. At the beginning, Carter Burke, the head of Wayland, William Gorman, the commander of the Marine Corps, and Alapong, the captain of the Marine Corps, all sneered at the players' behavior. They thought that these soldiers were making a fuss. No matter how powerful the monster is, it can be easily dealt with by the firepower of the Marine Corps. Why ask so much in detail? It's unnecessary. But as the players asked and Ripley repeated, the image of this monster became more and more full. It can be described in such detail without any contradictions. It is obvious that Ripley could not be lying. This monster is indeed very scary. The three supervisors looked at each other. There was a cautious look in their eyes. Carter Burke felt a little regretful. Previously, the management of Wayland Company was too arrogant during the hearing of Ripley and did not accept Ripley's answer. If those idle managers could be as meticulous as these Marines, they would not completely distrust Ripley. After understanding the characteristics of the alien, everyone discussed with Ripley how to deal with it. At this time, other characters in the story also joined the discussion. They began to formulate various corresponding combat plans. In this process, Commander William Gorman played a good role. This person was probably a top student in the military school, otherwise he would not be a commander. It's just that his actual combat experience is extremely rare. In the original movie, his improper command and slow response led to the innocent deaths of a large number of soldiers. The ones who died were the cannon fodder replaced by the players. However, William's military theory is quite good. After understanding the characteristics of the aliens and the number of possible appearances, when he formulated the combat plan, he played a decisive role. As a commander who was airborne to the Marine Corps, the soldiers didn't think much of him. After this process of specifying the plan, instead, everyone looked at him with admiration. Anyway, no one else in the team could formulate such an excellent plan. Even as the heroine, who had fought with the aliens with real swords and guns, she didn't have such a complicated mind. From the beginning, the players changed the attitude of the human side in the secret realm. From arrogance to caution. If there were only one or two players, it would be difficult to achieve such a change, but with the efforts of 10 players, the quantitative change finally led to a qualitative change. In other words, they met the conditions preset by the system, and the human leadership began to treat this task seriously. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1153. In this secret realm, Xiaoming can play more easily. Because there is no obvious distinction between good and evil in the plot characters here, including the aliens. Aliens are just made into prey species. They are a kind of creature themselves, and they prey on humans just for survival and reproduction. It is hard to say whether they are good or evil. Humans are also for survival. It is more justified to resist predators. We can't just let others slaughter us. The reason why Xiaoming regards the aliens as enemies is just because he is a human being. He has no disgust for the aliens themselves. In other words, when Xiaoming was in the secret realm, by chance, he took over the alien eggs and added a strong army to his mind beast army. Later, his strength was greatly improved, and the aliens also evolved into the alien King Kong, which has always been his powerful helper. Xiaoming still has some good feelings for the aliens. Compared with humans, this monster is actually very pure. Unlike some plot characters, almost everyone has done evil. Carter Burke, the head of Wayland Company, is smart and greedy. They are extremely greedy for profits. This is also a characteristic of capitalist society, which produces many people who can sell everything for money. After hearing about the characteristics of the aliens, Burke was thinking about how to use them. It would be best if he could bring a few alive back for research, which would definitely make a lot of money for the company. As for the fact that the Marines might suffer heavy losses if they caught the living aliens, he certainly thought of it, but he didn't care about the lives of these Marines at all. Carter Burke really thought in his heart, even if everyone dies, as long as I am alive and bring a few living aliens back, it is worth it. He is a scumbag. Marine Commander William Gorman and Marine Captain Alapong, compared with Burke, they are actually much better. The biggest wish in their hearts is nothing more than completing the mission, being rewarded for meritorious service, and upgrading their military rank and position. As the chief officers of the army, they can accept some losses, but the smaller the losses, the greater their contributions. Therefore, the two of them are still very protective of their soldiers. Especially Al, the captain of the Marine Corps, these team members have fought with him. William Gorman has hardly participated in actual combat, and his hands are not stained with the blood of innocent people. Alapong is different. He led the team to fight hundreds of battles for the benefit of the company, and it is inevitable that he will kill the wrong person. Sometimes he even knowingly commits a crime. He and his soldiers have a bad life energy. I am afraid they will go to hell after death. So in this mission, Xiao Ming must save only the heroine Ripley. It doesn't matter whether the players who come with him are saved or not. Saving more people can get better rewards, and Xiao Ming will let it go. He doesn't care about that little reward. He will not go out of his way to protect those plot characters, especially Burke. While everyone is making plans, the spaceship they are riding has arrived at the satellite orbit of the planet LV-426. Next, all the Marines, Ripley, and the head of the company Burke boarded a small spaceship. This small spaceship took everyone to the surface of the planet. According to the plan, the small spaceship did not land directly, but hovered over the original colony. First, various detectors were used to conduct a full-scale scan of the base built by humans here. Players are definitely not good at technology, and can only listen to what the plot characters say. At the same time, Xiao Ming quietly used his mental power to scan the area of thousands of kilometers nearby. Basically, he knew the situation here clearly. The human colony is very large, and a small area 3 floors underground is the energy center. The energy center of this newly built alien colony can only be a nuclear reactor. Other energy sources cannot support the initial needs of a colony. For safety reasons, the area where humans live should be a little further away from the reactor. Such a small amount of nuclear leakage will not harm the residents, but if the reactor explodes, there is no need to say anything, and there is no way to avoid it. Probably because the nuclear reactor has been releasing heat, the aliens built their nests near the reactors. There are probably hundreds of aliens dormant in the nest. The huge alien queen seems to be asleep too. At the same time, there are many humans who have been parasitized by the aliens and are trapped in the alien nest. In the entire colony, there is only one little girl who has not been caught by the aliens. She is lingering in the corner of the colony. Perhaps because she is small, very alert, and flexible, and very familiar with the base, she can survive until now. It is conceivable that she cannot live like this forever. As her body grows day by day, she will be caught by the aliens sooner or later. Besides, even if she is not caught, she will have a hard time getting a minor illness such as a cold, fever, or malnutrition. In addition, far away from the base, there is a giant spaceship shaped like a ring, which does not look like a creation of humans on Earth. Judging from the rust and corrosion marks on its surface, this spaceship should have been there for a long time. Referring to the information Ripley said, this must be the alien spaceship that her crew discovered 57 years ago. The alien was also brought out by a crew member. Xiao Ming's mind moved, and a large number of clones and mind beasts immediately appeared on the periphery of the spaceship. This spaceship is what Xiao Ming is looking for. Let the Marines deal with the aliens in the colony. Just follow along. It was a huge ring-shaped spaceship. This structure is actually quite inconvenient for the spaceship to take off and fly. The air resistance is too great. The ability to build a spaceship of this shape can only show that the race has extremely advanced technology. The power and defense of the spaceship are very strong, and the trouble caused by this shape is not worth mentioning at all. When designing the spaceship, they can let themselves go at will. With such high technology, how could it crash into this wild land? According to the plot, it is probably because of the aliens. Xiaoming carefully scanned the interior of the spaceship and first saw some huge alien bodies that had become fossils. These aliens seemed like giants, but except for their size, their structure was very similar to that of humans. At this time, Xiaoming did not know that this race was called engineers by humans. In a sealed warehouse inside the spaceship, Xiaoming found a large number of alien eggs. These alien eggs were arranged close to the ground, and there was a layer of blue energy light film covering the eggs. It seems that this race is probably studying strange creatures like the alien. That layer of light film is used to stop the alien. Even if the eggs below hatch into spider-like larvae, they probably won't be able to get out. According to Ripley, her crew was parasitized by the alien larvae because they entered below the light film. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1154. These alien eggs are really useless, and they can only provide Xiaoming with some nutrition. The spaceship is the real treasure. Xiaoming covets the engineer's spaceship, and the system will certainly not agree. But how to stop it? According to the plot, this spaceship really has no guarding power. However, the spaceship can still control a large number of alien eggs, which means that part of the system is still in operation. So it can't be scrapped and let the players get nothing. So a large group of aliens were brushed out by the system from some unknown corners. There are hundreds of alien warriors, and even guards, which are more than the total number of aliens in the colony nest. They are overwhelming like wolves, rushing towards Xiaoming's clones and mind beasts. Unfortunately, this is just a group of 3-4 level, but D-level aliens. What role can they play in the face of Xiaoming's A-level or B-level clones? The strength gap is too big. It can't be made up by quantity at all. Several 7-stars Shadow clones used the move of double-handed machine gun one after another, and countless bullets flew, beating the aliens to pieces. Ordinary Shadow clones used various ninjutsu, and the most suitable ninjutsu in this spaceship was lightning release pseudo-darkness. Sharp lightning spears were released from the clones' mouths, sweeping with lightning from near to far. The metal hull of the spaceship can also conduct electricity, so the power of lightning release can extend to a long distance. A large number of aliens were electrocuted to charcoal from a distance before they saw the enemy. Of course, there were also some low-level mind beasts that were accidentally bitten to death by aliens. But it just consumed a little of Xiaoming's mind power, which was not a big deal. Those aliens who bit the mind beasts felt very strange. What the hell is this? It looks like a human, and I bit it, but how come it disappeared in the blink of an eye? Omega, alas, it is really difficult for the aliens in the technological world to understand the supernatural energy of telekinesis. More than an hour later, Xiaoming's clone army killed all the waves of aliens that were spawned by the system without any suspense. After that, Xiaoming released Xiaohei and ate all the alien corpses and the alien eggs in stock. The system clearly gave Xiaoming a big gift. The green Xiaoming in the private world can give birth to hundreds of insect humans again. After dealing with the aliens in the spaceship, Xiaoming's clones poked around in the east and bumped around in the west, trying to start the spaceship. Unfortunately, the design concept and layout style of the engineer's spaceship are too different from those of humans. Many places were broken by Xiaoming. After a long while, Xiaoming finally opened a place like a weapons warehouse. The weapons inside were very familiar to Xiaoming. Isn't this the weapon of the Iron Blood Warrior? Probably some of the weapons seized by the engineers from the Predator. They just happened to be placed here. The system has no way to do this. Because in several related movies, the engineers never picked up weapons, and there is no relevant information. It just so happens that the Predator and the engineers belong to the same universe. Simply let the engineers seize a large number of Predator weapons. Players can naturally obtain these weapons by destroying a large number of aliens and meeting the conditions. Of course, there will be other rewards, which will be settled after the secret realm ends. Xiaoming couldn't help but smile bitterly and shook his head. It's good to have a lot of these weapons yourself. Remember, Xiaoming once got a destroyer of the Predator in the secret realm of Alien vs Predator 1, and it was a common item. There are naturally many weapons and equipment of the Predator on the destroyer. What we get now is just to increase the inventory and add icing on the cake. However, it's better to have it than not. Xiaoming's clone summoned the destroyer and moved all the weapons here. Then continued to search for the spaceship, hoping to find some good things. At this time, Xiaoming was a little annoyed. In fact, the repair magic in the world of Harry Potter can be used to repair the spaceship. But the problem is that in the real world, Xiaoming has several wands. But in the game, he did not get a universal wand. He could not use the repair magic in the secret realm. Forget it, he remembered this lesson, and the first thing he did after leaving the secret realm of Alien 2 was to spend a lot of money to buy a universal wand. These are all later. Let's take a look at the main storyline at the same time. After careful investigation, the Marines confirmed that the colony was still safe, and the small spaceship landed. Leaving enough forces to guard the spaceship, the others were divided into two groups and began to search for the situation inside the colony. Brother Wen volunteered to stay on the small spaceship. In the other two groups, Xiaoming and Pons joined the group of the heroine Ripley. Sanyi and his apprentice joined the other group. Xiaoming knew the location of the surviving little girl, and deliberately took his group to encounter her. The girl's name is Rebecca Newt Jordan, and she doesn't like to talk much. Probably because she was seriously frightened. In fact, the first resident in the colony to be parasitized by the alien embryo was her father. For some unknown reason, her family drove so far away from the base and happened to find the engineer's spaceship. Her parents entered the spaceship to explore, but her father was parasitized, so they fled back to the base in a panic. As a result, they also brought the alien back to the colony, and then the entire colony was raised by the alien. Only she was left barely alive. Of course, this matter cannot be blamed on her family. After all, humans have established a colony on the planet LV-426. It was only a matter of time before the spaceship was discovered by humans. Since humans had no idea about the alien creatures, the defensive measures taken were not cautious enough, and the destruction of the base was inevitable. Unless the top management of Wayland believed her words when Ripley was just rescued and recalled the colony personnel, this tragedy could not be avoided. It is just a company that values money more than anything else. It is impossible to easily give up a running alien colony for the sake of one person. And if they really believed it, the biggest possibility would not be to retreat, but to notify the colony to take the initiative to find the spaceship. And invest more manpower and material resources to carry out large-scale research. Then the scale of this tragedy may be expanded dozens or even hundreds of times. The colony was out of contact for a short time, and there were still many facilities that could be used normally. The Marines quickly took over the control system of the colony. In a place that looked like a laboratory, some spider-shaped alien larvae were also seen being studied. Most of them are dead, but two are still alive. It seems that after Newt's father brought the alien back, the scientists in the colony still started researching it. They even killed the humans who were parasitized in order to remove the alien. What a group of crazy scientists. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1155. After the Marines took over the colony's computer system, they immediately began searching for anyone other than the little girl Rebecca Newt Jordan. Every resident here has been surgically implanted with a device called PDTS, which stands for Personal Data Transducer. As long as they are within 20 kilometers of the colony, they can be searched by the computer system. The member of the Marine Corps who is most familiar with computer operations is called William Hudson. He is a plot character, not a player. He logged into the base's computer system, and after a dazzling operation, he quickly discovered the location of other residents. Near the freezer of the nuclear reactor, that is where the alien nest that Xiao Ming saw was located. Some plot characters thought they were holding a conference there. This is a bit retarded. Even if there is a conference, certain important positions cannot be left unattended. This is common sense. I don't know why a few executives didn't think of it. Commander William Gorman immediately ordered Captain Al Appin to assemble the team and prepare to set off. At this moment, the heroine Ripley hugged the little girl Nude, rushed to several people, and shouted, "Wait a minute, you have to listen to this." Behind them, there were several players, including Xiao Ming. The situation is this. Nude was too young and was severely frightened, and his mind was always in a state of self-protection. So much so that he doesn't want to recall the terrible things that happened at the base. Even though he was rescued by everyone, he has not said a word so far. Only with Ripley's tenderness did he say his name. So several executives were left without much needed intelligence. In the original book, they didn't know that the residents were hopeless. When they saw people gathering there, they immediately sent the Marines to rescue them. The action was too hasty and not fully prepared. As a result, most of the team members died in the alien lair. If Nude could tell them the details of the alien attack on the base, they would be able to make a more correct judgment on the entire situation. Develop a more reasonable battle plan. In this life, Xiao Ming felt sorry for this little girl and used the spell Bing Xianju on her. It helped her quickly calm down and regain her consciousness. After his mind cleared up, Nude immediately realized that these soldiers could not be allowed to take risks with a blind eye, as that would be seeking death. She told Ripley, who had been taking care of her, about the danger. Ripley understood the seriousness of the matter and quickly took Nude to find several executives. Told from Nude's perspective, several managers, as well as some key personnel in the Marine Corps, gradually learn what is happening in the colony. It turns out that since Nude's father was parasitized by an alien and returned to the colony, colonial doctors began first aid. However, it is actually inconvenient to rescue humans who are parasitized by aliens. Surgical removal of the xenomorph will also result in death of the host. However, after the parasitism is completed, the shell of the alien larvae will automatically fall off. The parasitized person will also wake up, live like a normal person for 1-2 days, and then the immature body of the alien warrior will rush out of the person's chest. People die naturally. Because the doctors at the base didn't understand the situation. I watched this incident take place completely. The immature body that broke out of the body ran away. The immature body is too small, about the size of a mouse, and does not look dangerous. So no one took it seriously. I just think this monster is worth studying. So Newt's mother was forced to lead the way, and another expedition team was sent to the engineer's spacecraft. This time, several alien larvae were brought back, some of which parasitized the expedition team members, and some of which were captured alive. These are the samples that everyone sees in the laboratory when they come in. It's just that they completely underestimated the power of the escaped immature alien body. In just a few days, people continued to disappear, and were abducted by the grown-up alien warriors to reproduce as parasites. By the time too many people disappeared, causing panic in the colonies, the situation was completely out of control. The number of aliens reached dozens, and an alien queen appeared. Although the colonies tried their best to resist, they were still overwhelmed by the alien army. All residents were either killed and used as food rations, or captured and used as hosts. Only Newt reacted quickly and hid early, and was able to escape. Her mother and brother did not survive. After listening to the little girl's story, several executives and the Marines were stunned and looked at each other. Even some players were dumbfounded. Among them, the three newcomers, the third master, the middle school boy, and Ruan Meng Meng are the most serious. Gorman said solemnly, "If what she said is true, then we must consider the possibility that all residents have been parasitized." Carter Burke, the head of the company, also nodded in agreement. "Yes, Gorman is right. Based on the population of the colony, there are at least hundreds of aliens, maybe more. Can the weapons and ammunition of the Marines handle it?" Al Appin held a cigar in his mouth, frowned and thought for a while, and said, "For normal battles, it should be enough." However, Ripley also said that these aliens are latent creatures, and their body fluids can also melt metal, that is to say, they can attack from any direction. We still have too few manpower. At this time, the heroine Ripley saw the location of the alien lair on the computer screen. Immediately pointed out that the place was too close to the nuclear reactor, and the weapons and equipment of the Marines were a bit too powerful. Their firepower might damage the freezing system and cause the nuclear reactor to explode. Then everyone would die. But if they chose weapons with lower lethality, it would probably be even more inadequate to deal with hundreds of aliens. The heroine was the most straightforward. She immediately suggested that since the colony was already hopeless, we should just evacuate collectively. Then use the ship's guns from high altitude to blow up the base, and then trigger the explosion of the nuclear reactor, killing all the aliens, and it would be a complete end. Her proposal was very suitable for the appetite of the group of belligerent Marines, and it received several votes in favor. This was so cool. "Wait a minute," Burke interrupted quickly, "let's think calmly and see if there are other ways." Then he said a lot of things. His meaning was very simple. This base was very valuable. If it was not necessary, it would be better not to give it up. It would be a shame to waste it. Although he wanted to bring the living alien back, he didn't dare to say that in front of these people. Instead, he mentioned the alien spaceship. A high-tech alien spaceship will be of great help to human civilization. Once a nuclear explosion is triggered at the base, then for a long time, humans will not be able to set foot in this area. It will be impossible to study the spaceship. There must be technological means in that spaceship that can deal with the aliens. Don't we need it? His words also caused everyone to think. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1156. The first thing the team did was to build a defense circle around the small spaceship. There were more than 3 soldiers guarding each direction. Various reconnaissance methods were also used, in case the aliens came to attack quietly. In each group of soldiers, there would always be 1 or 2 players to ensure the safety of the defense circle. As for the computer system that controls the base, it can be connected to the small spaceship to run. Although it may be a little slower, it can be escaped at any time. In this way, everyone can feel at ease. The alien's nest still needs to be scouted. However, since it is already known that there are monsters over there, living people cannot be sent to scout. The Marines sent out several remote-controlled small crawler reconnaissance robots. They even have the ability to climb stairs, so there is no need to worry about not being able to reach the destination. The original purpose of this robot is to replace humans to detect dangerous places. Finally, it can be put to good use. In addition, there are a lot of research materials on aliens in the base, as well as several specimens and 2 living alien larvae. Carter Burke, the head of the company, plans to take them away quietly. These originally belonged to the assets of Wayland Company. At this time, even if Ripley objects, Burke cannot stop his behavior. What's more, Burke deliberately did this without Ripley's knowledge. Xiaoming also helped a little in the middle. Those two living bodies are actually very difficult to take away. The spacecraft needs to fly in space for a long time, and the crew members have to sleep, which does not have the conditions to maintain the alien larvae. Burke had a crooked idea in his mind, wanting to design a team member to be parasitized by the alien, and then freeze the team member to sleep. In this way, the living alien can be brought back to Earth. Of course, the Marine who was parasitized must have survived. Burke's heart is really black. So Xiaoming secretly used the freezing technique to freeze the two living alien larvae. When Burke saw the two big ice lumps, he didn't know whether to be happy or angry. Helplessly, he could only take them back like this. Now it is definitely impossible to parasitize. I hope that after returning to Earth, the two larvae can survive. There is no doubt that Burke's hope is doomed to fail. When Xiaoming was freezing the alien, he did something. The two young ones definitely won't survive until then. Xiaoming continued to observe Burke with mind reading. This guy was still thinking about all kinds of crooked thoughts, but not as strongly as before. At least in his opinion, the two ice lumps could still be counted on. The desire to take risks was reduced a lot. Xiaoming was thinking, if only he could kill Burke directly. Unfortunately, doing so would definitely cause panic among the characters in the plot, and the consequences would be unpredictable. Let's find an opportunity later. Now Xiaoming can only suppress his bad intentions, and the mission will be completed. Hudson and several other Marines remotely controlled the reconnaissance robot and went deeper into the alien's nest little by little. Several supervisors, the heroine, several Marines, and players all gathered around them to watch. The alien's nest is very well made. As long as the alien curls up and sticks to the wall of the nest, it is almost invisible. It is difficult for ordinary people to tell them apart. Xiaoming knew which one was the alien, but he didn't say it first. He estimated that if he pointed out the alien in front of the plot characters, he should be able to get extra points from the system and get more rewards. Xiaoming would not compete with others for such a small reward. Unless no one could see it, he would point it out when he had no choice. Xiaoming really didn't need to say anything about the facts. The quality of professional players is amazing. Although Sanya didn't have the ability to detect like Xiaoming, he had very keen observation. After missing one or two hidden aliens, he was the first to identify an alien lying on the ceiling. The reason was that the thing moved a little. Everyone watched the video again and it was true. The players looked at him with new eyes. And those plot characters secretly wiped their cold sweat. Fortunately, this team member had good eyesight. If he went in, he would definitely not be able to distinguish it. Once the alien attacked from the top of his head, he would be dead. This team member simply saved everyone's life. Next, the others also found the trick and discovered a large number of adult aliens hidden. I even watched a bloody scene where an alien burst out of a living person's chest. That lady was so miserable that some team members even vomited. During the robot's peripheral reconnaissance, the aliens did not react to them. The aliens have seen too many such machine-like things in the colony. At the beginning, some aliens would take a bite to taste it, but now they are no longer surprised. Everyone knows that this thing is hard and unpalatable, so no alien pays attention to it. However, occasionally some bored aliens launch attacks, and the number of robots decreases one by one. The last reconnaissance robot moved all the way inside. Just when this robot was about to reach a certain place, the picture suddenly disappeared. As expected, it should have been destroyed intentionally or unintentionally by an alien. At the reminder of the players, everyone carefully reviewed the video sent back by the robot. In the last few frames, a clue was seen. In the area of the left third of the screen, there were many densely arranged alien eggs, and there seemed to be a huge figure. However, the picture was too blurry to make out the huge figure, whether it was an alien or the outline of a building. Be lenient with the enemy, the human side will assume that it is a large alien. Xiao Ming knows that everyone is right, that figure is the alien queen. Usually the queen does not move around, she is responsible for laying eggs. Once she encounters a terrible enemy, the queen can also throw away the fallopian tube and stand up to fight the enemy. The strength is far superior to the alien warriors. The reconnaissance robot came to the door of the queen's bedroom. On the periphery of the nest, the aliens may not care about such a harmless machine, but for the queen, the aliens will never be careless. The alien guards responsible for guarding the queen destroyed the reconnaissance robot. Seeing the huge number of aliens and the huge figure, the characters in the plot have completely lost their temper. If they can beat them, it would be a hell. Especially when the terrain of the alien nest is so complicated. Let's go quickly. Those monsters usually come out at dark. Most of the time it's like that. At this time, it was the little girl Nude who put forward a constructive suggestion. Now the sky is gradually getting dark. If the aliens come out, we may not see the sun tomorrow morning. Let's pack up and run. Go go go, Captain Al Appan urged repeatedly. Seeing the last soldier quickly board the spaceship, he immediately shouted into the cabin, "Take off, quick, quick." With a roar, the small spaceship took off. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1157. Pharaoh, where are you flying to? Janet Vasquez suddenly asked the driver in front. You don't know yet? Let's go see what the alien spaceship looks like, the chatty William Hudson explained to her first. Colette Farrow and Vasquez, they happen to be the only two female soldiers in the Marine Corps. They are both important plot characters and have not been replaced by players. Vasquez has strong muscles and holds the heaviest and most powerful machine gun in the team. She is the vanguard of the Marines' charge. The machine gun needs to be fixed on her body with a bracket, otherwise it can't be lifted by one person. Even with a bracket, not everyone can be the vanguard. Vasquez, a woman, can get this position, which shows how strong she is. Fortunately, there are two vanguards, and the other one saved a little face for the men. Not to mention Pharaoh, she is the pilot of the small spaceship, and her importance is even higher than Vasquez. Neither of these two positions can be filled by players. Therefore, they are still plot characters. Vasquez thought that the Marines should return to the spacecraft orbiting the satellite and then destroy the aliens with the naval gun. However, looking at the direction of the small spacecraft, it seems that it is not going to outer space, so he raised a question. So where is the small spacecraft going? Of course, it is the alien spacecraft. Because the people in the colony have been there before, they have marked it on the map, and the Marines just need to follow the map. Seeing that there are too many aliens in the base, it has become wishful thinking to take back the colony, unless a large army is sent from the Earth to clear it out. But the cost of doing so is too high, and the company will not approve it. So the company head and the Marine commander formulated another plan. Use naval guns to induce a nuclear reactor explosion to destroy all the aliens. In order not to waste the alien spacecraft. Before firing, they have to plunder the spacecraft first. Try to take away everything that can be looted. Maybe the small spacecraft will need to go back and forth several times. As for whether to go back and forth, it mainly depends on the activities of the aliens. If they don't come to the alien spaceship, it doesn't matter. Once they come, the looting work must be stopped. It takes a lot of time to explore an alien spaceship. Carter Burke couldn't help but pray to the God in his faith. At the beginning, things really developed according to Burke's idea. According to the investigation of the colony, the aliens come out at night. They patrol and explore in groups of 3 or 2 in all directions, mainly looking for food and hosts. It's a bit like the lifestyle of bees or ants. However, they seem to deliberately avoid the direction of the alien spaceship. This makes the human side puzzled. There is a biochemical man named Bishop in the team, and he put forward a conjecture. It may be because the aliens come from alien spaceships, and their DNA may have been modified by aliens, so they will automatically avoid alien spaceships. Others said it makes sense. Perhaps only Xiaoming knows the truth. Aliens are a rebellious race that never cowardly, so why would they be afraid of aliens? The real reason is that Xiaoming has occupied this alien spaceship, eliminated a large number of aliens generated by the system, and met the conditions. At present, this spaceship belongs to Xiaoming. So the aliens in the plot will naturally not come over. If Xiaoming doesn't like the plot characters to touch his spoils, then he has to find a way to deal with it himself. The system also adopts the strategy of killing 3 warriors with 2 peaches. With such obvious benefits, won't the players fight for it? Won't they fight with the plot characters? Of course not. Xiaoming doesn't care about this little thing. Give the players some insignificant things. Moreover, he thinks that he can't develop anything by himself, so it's better to let the plot characters help. Maybe he can pick up some results. The players don't know that this spaceship has belonged to Zhang Xiaoming. They all think they are here to open up wasteland. Naturally, there is no need to fight. After all, everyone is from the same studio, and they will see each other every day. There is nothing to fight for. Besides, it would probably take several days to search such a large spaceship roughly, and it is impossible to monopolize it. Seeing that the players and the plot characters are so harmonious, I don't know if the game system will be angry. A few hours later in real time, a few days have passed in the secret realm, and the system has accelerated the speed of time. The small spaceship went back and forth several times, and the Marines had taken away everything that could be packed and taken away. Even a few metal plates from various parts of the spaceship were removed. The head of the company, Burke, was very disappointed. He did not find the alien eggs mentioned in the records. Those alien eggs had been eaten by the mind beast Xiao He, so Burke certainly couldn't find them. In fact, the system seemed to be unable to bear it later, and some aliens began to advance towards the spaceship. Its large force was quietly solved by Xiaoming's clone. Only a few scattered aliens were released for the Marines to play with. Although the players and Marines have not lowered their vigilance, they still lost 2 players in the face of this assassin-type creature, but the players were fine. Originally, Xiaoming planned not to actively interfere in the battle between the aliens and the plot characters. But when the time came, he still took action. The main concern is that if the players can't resist, it will be bad if they get less rewards. Secondly, what if the aliens scared Ruan Meng Meng? Finally, this time the characters were very well behaved and did not commit suicide, so Xiaoming felt that he could help. Of course, these were all far-fetched excuses. The actual reason was that Xiaoming was too impatient. Seeing that there was nothing left to loot, and the aliens seemed to have noticed this place, several high-level officials finally decided to leave. And according to the original plan, they launched an attack from space, triggered a nuclear explosion, and all the aliens were wiped out. The secret realm of Alien 2 ended successfully. Everyone received a reward from the system. After asking each other, they learned that the rewards were basically the same. A 4th-level universal weapon, a high-tech submachine gun and some ammunition. And there is no limit on the level of the user. This weapon is actually a conventional weapon used by Marines. Considering the amount of ammunition, its use is still limited. However, in the main game, players are generally at level 3, and suddenly using a 4th-level weapon has a great advantage if used well. For players who have just entered the game, such as Sanyi and Zhong or Xiaonian, the advantage of Tier 4 weapons is even greater. Except for Xiaoming, everyone else's contribution is almost the same. The real big share is naturally taken by Xiaoming, but no one knows. The system gave Xiaoming several choices, and Xiao Ming finally decided to upgrade the Iron Blood Destroyer to a simplified version of the Iron Blood Cruiser. Strive to upgrade it to a battleship in the future. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1158. This trip to the secret realm was fruitful. The old people were all happy, and the newcomers also had a lot of fun. Ruan Mengmeng didn't understand the game, but she thought the novel scenes and settings were quite interesting. It was also the first time for Sanyi and the middle school boy to come into contact with the secret realm of the magic planet. There was nothing to compare. They were naturally satisfied with the rewards. Before they were recruited by Long Aotian Studio, they didn't even know that there was a secret realm in this game. This matter was a secret. Sanyi's network of contacts was actually very wide, but he had been in contact with the game for too short a time and had not received any relevant information. For this clearance of the secret realm of Alien 2, only the old people in the studio, Zhang Yuyan, Peng Si, and others, felt a little strange. It felt like everyone didn't do anything. They didn't even kill a few aliens. How could they get such a good reward? Yes, from their point of view, a level 4 universal weapon was already a very good reward. If they knew that Xiao Ming's reward was to upgrade the spaceship, they would probably vomit blood 3 liters. The little reward they got was actually the side effect of teaming up with Xiao Ming, and the joint credit. The reward given by the system to them can only be regarded as a bonus, and the reward given to Xiao Ming is the big one. Xiao Ming faced 3 choices at that time. The first one was to get the damaged spaceship of the engineer. It was just such a broken ship. In the game, Xiao Ming did not have enough technical strength to develop it. It was a waste. If he chose the second reward, Xiao Ming's level 3 summoning cube would have another alien queen and more than a dozen subordinates. However, there was already an alien queen in the cube, and it would be a duplicate to do it again. After weighing it, it was more cost-effective to upgrade the original Iron Blood Destroyer with the third reward. At least Xiao Ming had some understanding of the operating system of the Iron Blood spaceship and could operate it normally. It was much more useful than the other 2 rewards. This matter could be hidden from the new studio and several other bosses, but not from Brother Wen. He talked to Xiao Ming in the game just after the secret realm ended. Asked about the details of the secret realm process. Xiao Ming would not lie to him, and told Brother Wen everything he had done and the rewards he had received in the secret realm of Alien 2. After learning the details, Brother Wen started to mock him. Xiao Ming, I'm not saying anything bad about you. Why don't you improve your gaming skills? Oh? Why? Xiao Ming just felt strange. He thought that I got such a good reward, so my gaming skills must be good, right? Brother Wen said earnestly, Xiao Ming, listen to me. You completely relied on your strong strength to crush the plot. But you didn't fully develop the benefits. After a lot of nonsense, Xiao Ming felt that it seemed to be true. He was indeed a game rookie. Zhang Wen believed that Xiao Ming should not have stopped the wave of alien attacks later. Instead, he should have let the aliens attack. It would be best if the human spaceship was destroyed. When the Marines were at their wits' end, he would use his Iron Blood Destroyer to save everyone from the water and fire, and the rewards he received would definitely be much higher. Maybe, the Iron Blood Cruiser upgraded by Xiao Ming is not the simplified version, but the hardcover version. However, Xiao Ming doesn't care about the reward of a secret realm at all. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Besides, Brother Wen said this out of envy and jealousy. He is also very strong now. He wanted to show off his skills in the secret realm. He should show off. Unexpectedly, he failed to fight with the alien from beginning to end. As a result, the hero had no place to use his skills. Brother Wen was very angry and the consequences were serious. After talking with Xiao Ming, I found out that the culprit was this guy. If Xiao Ming hadn't taken action, I would have had a chance to show off. Now that everything has failed, he is of course unhappy. The two of them quarreled with each other for a long time across the radio waves before ending the call. Xiaoming called Ruan Mengmeng, but was told by the system that this person was not in the game for the time being. So he left the game cabin to take a look, but saw that Ruan Mengmeng had already come out and was making tea in the living room. The secret realm trip just now was a group activity, but everyone in the studio had to use their own game consoles. The studio originally had a temporary game console that anyone could use, but now only one was available, which was inconvenient. So after lunch, everyone agreed on a time, and the others went back to the company, while Xiaoming took Mengmeng home. Only at the agreed time did they form a team to play. The Alien 2 Secret Realm took up 3 or 4 hours of everyone's time. It was already a little late at this time, and it was time for dinner. Since lunch was a buffet of meat and bones, Mengmeng ate a lot, and now her belly was round and she was not hungry at all. She had to drink more tea to digest it. Xiaoming didn't care whether he ate or not. There was no need for dinner. The two of them lay in the recliner, rocking, drinking tea, and chatting. After a day of getting along, Mengmeng was more relaxed and talked to Xiaoming about a lot of family matters. Xiaoming was also willing to chat with her, and it felt like he was back to the side of Mengmeng. Very relieved and comfortable. At that time, the two of them often chatted in the sunset, but the topic changed. While chatting, Mengmeng fell asleep, and Xiaoming used the force to send her back to the room and put her down. Then he returned to the Hunter's secret realm. The next day, Sunday, September 25th, all schools are closed today. Mengmeng can't find a school to make up for the lessons for the time being. Xiaoming sent a 7 stars shadow clone to take Mengmeng out to play. He entered the main game and logged into Explorer. On September 12th, Explorer's Master Guo Jinsong and Uncle Hong Jinbei came to Tokyo Bianliang with several subordinates. Xiaoming opened the force for 3 ascetics at that time. After a period of tasting, they all agreed that the force is indeed a power worth developing vigorously. As long as it is developed well, the strength of the ascetics will surely make great progress. It is not much worse than the previous crossbow. The difference is that the crossbow is used to help low-level ascetics, while the force can give mid-level and high-level ascetics the opportunity to go to the next level. The high-level ascetics like the force more. Just a few days ago, when Green Xiaoming occasionally logged into Explorer, Guo Lao and Hong Lao asked Explorer to open the force for them. After the opening, they did not stay in Bianliang for long and left collectively. They said they were going back to the ascetic monks' headquarters for the next step of research. Whether the Explorer's mission was completed or not depended on how the ascetic monks' top leaders decided. Mr. Guo told the Explorer that this matter should have a result soon, and it would be better not to leave Tokyo for the time being. Wait for the news. It happened that Xiaoming had something to do, so he ordered the intelligent program Xiao to operate the Explorer and stay in the ascetic monk temple in Bianliang to concentrate on studying. Accumulate experience in the scholar's life profession. In fact, Xiao has been operating the Explorer to study diligently since about 10 days ago. It is estimated that the scholar profession should be upgraded soon, right? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1159. After finishing the Explorer's business, Xiaoming switched to the Researcher. On September 6, the Researcher received a Purple Master-level strategic mission from his elder sister Li Huamei, investigate Ladeo's movements. Xiaoming abused his power for personal gain and arranged a large number of 7 stars shadow clones and ordinary shadow clones to do the mission. Instead, he kept randomly jumping through space and finally arrived in Havana in America. His plan was to continue to develop here in the future. Seize the new continent. Later, because of the zombie cave incident, Xiao Ming had no time to manage the game seriously, and the main game business was taken over by 4 intelligent programs. Xiao Sainer operated the researcher and started a business in Havana with the follower Harpoon. They finally tasted the sweetness, and business can still give full play to the strengths of intelligent programs. Havana is very far away from Daming, and the goods of both sides can be sold at high prices. Xiao Sainer really made a lot of money from this vote. In addition, the clones have basically investigated the situation of Ladeo's family. Except for a few top secrets, other information cannot be hidden from them. As the Ladeo family is a powerful force, Li Huamei only hopes that the researcher can find out some of the information. That is not easy. But Xiao Ming got almost all the information about the Ladeo family. This is really a pleasant surprise. In fact, it is no wonder that the researcher is just a small character with an adventure level of level 3 and a strategic level of level 1. Li Huamei can't expect too much. To be precise, the system cannot require too much from a level 3 player. But as Xiao Ming's own strength continues to improve, even his ordinary shadow clone can temporarily exert the combat power of the lower level of level 6. The 7 Yao shadow clone can even burst out the combat power of level 7, and can usually maintain the level of the middle level of level 6. If these guys go to be spies, which force can stop them? What's more, the 7 Yao shadow clone can borrow Xiao Ming's telepathic ability at any time. There is no need for the NPC to tell the secret, just get closer and feel it and you will know. It is not surprising that the island family has been thoroughly investigated. During this period, the strategic treasure carrier pigeon that Li Huamei gave to Xiao Ming was exhausted. It takes several days for it to transmit information between Li Huamei and the researcher. Who let the researcher go to America? During these days of going back and forth, the shadow clones obtained a lot of new information. As a result, the carrier pigeon rested for a while and then set off again. When it came back again, there was a lot of new information here. It went back and forth endlessly. Fortunately, this is a game, and the carrier pigeon is a treasure, otherwise it would have been exhausted. Just the day before yesterday, after Li Huamei obtained a new piece of information, she assumed that this strategic mission had been completed. The information obtained was far beyond the eldest sister's imagination, and the reward for this mission was still quite good. At that time, it was Xiao Sainer who operated the researcher. He also made the choice of the reward. Xiao Ming was a little worried when he learned about this, and quickly looked through the system records of the researcher. The Purple Master level mission was perfectly completed. I won't talk about the gold coin rewards. The strategic level of the researcher has been raised by 3.5 levels, reaching level 15. The strategic experience reward can only be said to be average. The real good thing is the choice of new professional talents at level 15, one of which is to upgrade diplomacy to intermediate level. Xiao Sainer chose this. Intermediate diplomacy, increase the surrender probability of neutral troops by 200% and reduce the cost of surrender by 40%. The professional talent of diplomacy is very powerful, and players can hardly get it randomly at ordinary times. The researcher obtained this talent not by upgrading, but by his second brother Richard. It is equivalent to a special mission reward. This time, it is also because of his hard work that the system gave the upgrade option of this talent. In fact, in addition to upgrading diplomacy, you can also upgrade the sea tactics taught by Li Huamei. That talent is also quite awesome. The primary sea tactics can increase the attack power, defense power, and durability of 5 warships by 25% each. It must be very powerful when it is upgraded to intermediate level. If Xiao Ming were to choose, it would be hard to say whether he would choose sea tactics or diplomacy. The intelligent program was not confused. Xiao Sainer calculated and thought that diplomacy was more applicable, so he chose diplomacy. This was also appropriate. In addition, although this was a task accepted on the strategic map, Xiao Ming actually completed the task in a single-person action. So he actually did not lack experience in adventure. The adventure level was increased by more than 2 levels. It has now reached level 3, level 23. That's not all. The strategic treasure of the researcher, the pigeon, has also been upgraded. It is probably because it is used too frequently in the task. It often crosses half of the map, from America to Asia, and the pigeon will die if it continues. Now it has been upgraded to the advanced falcon. The speed is more than 2 times faster. It's still not over yet. The researcher also received a reward for the soldiers. This task is a reconnaissance task, so the reward is a reconnaissance type of soldier. Normally, the reward should be a thief. But the researcher is very special. He got the second combat profession of Naruto. Ninja troops also have relatively strong reconnaissance capabilities, so the reward for the researcher is the ninja troops. At that time, the system gave 3 types of troops to choose from: the first level Konao ninja, the first level 10 level sailing ninja, and the second level shuriken ninja. The lower the level, the more there will be. At that time, the researcher had no soldiers beside him except the follower Harpoon. So Xiaosan chose up to 21st level Konao ninjas. They are temporarily in the barracks in Havana. However, the special reconnaissance mission has ended, and the player can no longer wander around the strategic map as an individual. This means that the researcher can only move around the city of Havana and can no longer go to other cities, or even leave Havana too far. If you want to go further, you must lead a team to march. It is hard to say whether you can recruit soldiers in Havana as a researcher. The role of the researcher faces a major choice. Stay where you are or return to the Li family's second fleet. If you choose to stay in Havana, the researcher must rebuild the fleet, and the system will not directly teleport the player's fleet. But if the player chooses to return to the fleet, the system can teleport the researcher back to the fleet. Fortunately, Xiao Sainer felt the seriousness of the situation, so he did not make a choice. The system did not force him to do so. Anyway, the researcher could not go far, so it allowed the player to consider it. Xiao Sainer dragged this matter to Xiao Ming's login today. There is no doubt that Xiao Ming's choice was to stay in Havana. His plan was to use the teleportation aperture to teleport his troops over. But he did not expect that the researcher had not left the inn yet, and an NPC came to the door. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1160. Ding, ding, ding. Several crisp knocks on the door sounded. Xiao Ming knew without asking that there were 3 young people standing outside the door. Judging from their life energy, they were all good people. Xiao Ming did not tell Harpoon to do anything, but got up and opened the door himself. The first thing he saw was a beautiful half-elf girl with exotic style. She was about 20 years old and 166 centimeters tall. She had copper skin, blue eyes, and soft and flowing blonde hair, shining. She was wearing the traditional costumes of the local Aborigines, and it was obvious that she was a hybrid of European elves or half-elves and local humans. This half-elf was already a beauty, but the determination revealed in her eyes made Xiao Ming look at her with new eyes. This is a very pure person. She extended her right hand to Xiao Ming and greeted him politely. "Hello, Mr. Researcher. My name is Taya." "Strangle him. I am glad to meet you." Xiao Ming shook hands with her, and welcomed the 3 of them into the house, and sat down as host and guest. He winked at Harpoon. This time Harpoon reacted and rushed to pour tea for several people. Seeing that the host actually treated them with expensive tea, the 3 of them were shocked. This is too polite. In America, people are actually more accustomed to drinking coffee, and tea leaves are really rare. Especially this kind of tea from Ming Dynasty. Xiao Ming is not used to drinking coffee, so he took tea out from Guangmingding to drink. It is not very expensive. Taya and the other two misunderstood. This is my adjutant Lyoko Tomato, and this is my chef Sci-fi Khan. I hope Mr. Researcher will not be offended by our presumptuous visit. Taya introduced his deputy to the researcher. Lyoko Tomato is an adult man, who should be a few years older than Taya. With sharp eyes, agile body, and a murderous aura in his life energy, he is a veteran of many battles. That Sci-fi Khan is interesting. He is actually an orc, younger than Tia, and not tall. It is estimated that he is definitely not welcomed by the orcs. Human, half-elf, orc, I don't know how the three of them formed this strange combination. Xiaoming pointed at Harpoon and said, "This is Harpoon, my new follower." Harpoon smiled and nodded to the three people. At this moment, Xiaoming's telepathy read the thoughts of the three people. They took the initiative to find him because the researcher took this inconspicuous native Harpoon as his follower. They have been observing the researcher for several days and found that he is very good to Harpoon, a native. There is no discrimination. They also saw that the researcher buys and sells goods in Havana almost every day and has good financial resources, so they want to come to ask for sponsorship. Luque asked the researcher, "Mr. Researcher, we have a batch of antiques with a long history. I wonder if you are interested." People's thoughts are very fast. Just when he said the sentence, he had reviewed the purpose, intention, and various plans of this trip 2 or 3 times in his mind. I didn't expect that this Thai really had some background. She was a descendant of the royal family of the extinct Inca Empire in North America. She was also a hybrid of local humans and European half-elves. Seeing the Europeans brutally oppressing and plundering the indigenous people here, she was indignant and wanted to fight for equal status for the indigenous people instead of letting them be slaughtered. It's not because of her royal bloodline that she wants to restore the glory of her family. Because Taya knew very well that the original Inca royal family treated their people mostly by exploitation and oppression, which was not much better than the European colonists. There is no need to restore. All Taya wanted was to eliminate the serious inequality in the Americas. It's just that before, she was just Eskin's translator due to her livelihood. Now she has just formed an independent army, which is a subordinate force of the Eskin army. It is short of manpower and money. The dream is far away, and the reality is cruel. Diogo de Escant is a lower nobleman in Spain. He has a wide sphere of influence in America. It is hard to say who is the navy and who is the pirate here. Although this person is just a lower noble, he is actually ambitious and even wants to break away from Spain, establish an independent country, and become the king himself. Because of this ambition, Escant tried hard to win over the indigenous people, so on the surface he was quite good to Tia. He even allowed Tia to form an independent army. The purpose is to let Tia help him to expel another force in America, Boscos de Maldonado. Of course, Tia can get this status mainly because she and Escant's chief of staff Fin Blanco are lovers. With such a relationship, it is no wonder that she trusts Escant. She is just obsessed by her boyfriend. For the time being, Tia has not seen through Escant's true face. However, her lieutenant Lyoko never believed in Escant. Lyoko was a warrior among the Native Americans and once organized a team to fight against Escant. Later, he was rescued by Tia when he was seriously injured and dying, and he has been loyal to Tia ever since. He is dedicated to helping Tia fulfill her dream. He also hopes that one day, Tia can give up her fantasy about the colonizers. In Lyoko's view, that is the real way to save the American people. Freedom and equality are never given by the rulers, but must be fought for by oneself. The orc Sci-fi Khan has followed Tia for a longer time. He followed Tia when she was just a translator. He is good at cooking and likes animals. He is an orc with a good personality. Xiaoming deeply suspects that he is probably an elf who was born in the wrong body. That's not right, elves generally don't make fire and cook. Sci-fi doesn't have so many thoughts, he just follows Sister Tia wholeheartedly. No matter what his sister does, he will do his best to help. Havana is Maldinard's nest, which can be regarded as an enemy camp. But Tia has not officially started a war with them now. There will be no problem if she comes to do business normally. They have been observing the researcher for several days and think that he is an equal alliance. At the very least, they hope to get financial support from the researcher. Tia's power has just started. If she can get a large investment at this time, she will definitely develop rapidly. But the two sides just met today, so it is too early to talk about attracting investment and forming an alliance. Tia has a lot of antiques from the Inca Empire. I hope to sell them to the outsider, the researcher, in exchange for a lot of gold coins. After all, these local merchants are no longer interested in antiques from the Inca Empire. Everyone has a lot of them. The researcher is a newcomer from Asia. Selling to him first may give him a chance. After he stays for a long time, he may not be interested in these antiques. Don't think that Tia and the others want to rip off foreigners. The antiques that Tia took out are absolutely genuine and used by the royal family. The quality is absolutely guaranteed. In fact, these things are very memorable to Tia. If she is not forced to do so, she will not sell them.